equals mass times the speed of light squared. This is arguably one of the most famous scientific equations known to the human race. It is well known that this relativity equation was discovered by none other than Albert Einstein. What you may not know, however, is that at the time, 12 of the other scientists in the same laboratory could have made the same discovery at any given moment. How is it that Einstein, out of the dozen other scientists who had the same, or perhaps more access to the data, discovered the theory of relativity? Why is it that Einstein's thought was so original, yet at the same time theoretically sound, while the others, who were bright, were nonetheless held down by their formulaic beliefs? Soon after his discovery, Einstein said, "My discovery is a result of my musical and creative perception." The separation of the so-called emotional side of man in art from the rational spirit in science is what started the corruption of our culture. In order to truly make progress in this world and rebuild the gap, we need to undo this corruption. Not long ago, it was common knowledge that our best scientists, mathematicians, and thinkers were also poets, painters, or musicians. It was not even considered necessary to mention the musician-scientist as a novelty. It was a given that both realms were needed in order to develop a balanced personality. Now, when I was a freshman, I had to plan out my 4 years of high school, and I was strongly advised by multiple people around me to specialize in courses that complemented my area of interest, architecture. And right now, I would guess that you're thinking I want to be an artist. And you're not wrong, I do, but I also want to be an engineer. And to me, they're the same thing. This is what I like to call the architect's dilemma. Because architecture is not just art, it's math and it's science as well. There doesn't need to be a separation between the art and the technical, because engineers have to design buildings that are aesthetically pleasing, but at the same time, every architectural design is at its inception dominated by scientific considerations. The inexorable laws of gravitation and of statics must be obeyed by even the most imaginative artist. So why not see both as one? Why do we have this separation where we see one without the other? What I have come to understand is that, contrary to what I was being told in school, the worlds of art and design are not, in fact, incompatible with math, science, or engineering. I have realized that when combined, you can create things that are formidable that can't be created in either world alone. Just take a look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa or the Parthenon. These are just two of the many examples that come to my mind. They look stunning, but they also required much technological knowledge and brilliance in order to be built. Did you know that to make building the Parthenon even remotely possible, a whole new, super strong cement had to be invented? And not only that, this building has stood through war, natural disasters, and most importantly, time. It is a beautiful embodiment of the two worlds connecting. But centuries later, in schools, we still treat them as separate worlds. After hearing many people around me constantly urge me to specialize in one field, I came to really appreciate the polymaths like Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, people who did exactly the opposite. They knew that in order to be successful, they had to develop a balanced perspective of multiple fields. Sure, living in a functioning, structural, and systematic world is necessary, but creativity is also essential. Without creativity, we would all be living in 4x4 square boxes. Creativity is what brings us together, and it's also what separates cultures from one another. Without creativity, we would have no Marina Bay Sands, no Burj Khalifa, no Taj Mahal. Art, math, and science cross paths in almost every facet of society. Take a look at psychology, for example. Psychology requires so much empirical evidence and knowledge, but it also requires subjectivity, because you cannot diagnose a disorder within a person by just looking at one trait. each person is different. That's where the subjectivity comes in. So although there is no one single right answer, there is empirical evidence and knowledge that is required to come down to one conclusion. If we wanted to go even more abstract, we could talk about music, because sound is extremely tricky to work with. It's essentially a wave of compressed air traveling through the air into the ear. And think about the last time you were at a concert. Remember that no matter where you were sitting, you heard the sound the same as everyone else. And this isn't just a coincidence. Arenas and concert halls have multiple speakers placed around them so that the sound level is the same throughout the entire venue. And sound engineers use multiple combinations of sines, cosines, and tangents to figure out coverage patterns and to figure out how to align speakers so that the sound level is the same throughout the venue. Although it's hard and it's nearly impossible to make the sound level perfect, a well-versed sound engineer can get the systems aligned so that there's no more than a few decibels of difference across the entire venue. These examples are only the beginning. What our world needs is more collaboration. We need more innovators to bring us together. We need to bring these worlds of art and math and science together in order to continue to create extraordinary things. The ingredients for the next Einstein are all around us, just waiting for people with broad knowledge, extreme passion, and courage to make use of them. But these changes will not happen overnight, and these people will not appear spontaneously. The reason Einstein was so successful was because he was nurtured from a very young age to become a scientist, an artist, and a mathematician. Einstein made breakthroughs in science because he saw the world through the eyes of a creator. He used his creative mind and his concrete knowledge in order to create a discovery that would change the universe. And these rare visionaries, like Einstein, have the ability to think across the worlds of art and design, math, science, and engineering. They're able to understand when people have brought enough knowledge to the table to bring the goal within reach. And the goal within reach. And these visionaries don't have to be rare. We have long been in the thought that our world is black and white. In order for us to rebuild the gap, we need to stop separating the arts from the sciences and the maths. What our world needs are innovators and thinkers to propel us forward. We need to teach to current and future generations that opposites, in fact, do attract. Thank you.